Was that baby's first rainstorm?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
They drive her on coming in.
Oh.
Was it Monday?
Mhm.
Yeah. She was at the window. Aw.
Okay, and for our new members, when you get situated, if you just wouldn't mind turning your name tags towards me, so I can catch it for the record. Thank you.
They had to walk me through what I'm supposed to do again.
So when you're ready, just let us know and then we'll start the recording. And then we'll also start the housekeeping remarks. 1, 2, 3, 4.
But I log into the meeting, don't I?
9. We're too short of quorum. So if we want to wait a couple minutes.
Okay.
And I don't see Miss Jordan yet either. Hello, Mr. Mendoza. Right. Oops, no, we're good. Hi. Don't forget to fill these out.
Yeah, I'm sitting next to you. All right.
Hold back, man.
Appreciate it.
Staying. We're on camera.
That's really good.
So welcome complete.
So I don't think we're going to
I'm logging on.
and then we'll also need your. Thank you. If you wouldn't mind with your name tag, just facing it towards me.
Heather, what am I supposed to do?
Lower your volume.
You found it.
Okay. We have 4 people inside. So I'll let them know to go ahead and do that. Quoting the housekeeping remarks and then. Yep. Hey, can we start the recording, please? And housekeeping?
Thank you for participating in today's meeting. If attending in person, please do not connect to Zoom or teleconference while in the room, and please silence all devices. If translation is provided, click on the globe at the bottom of your screen to select either English or Spanish. Public comment will be taken after each item. If you're in the auditorium and wish to comment, please use the iPads located in the lobby or complete a blue speaker card as available. If you need assistance, please find a South Coast AQMD employee. Speakers may be limited to a total of 3 minutes or less for all agenda items. Times may be shortened to ensure all speakers can be heard. A countdown timer will be displayed on the screen for each public comment. More time will be allotted for Spanish translation that is not simultaneous. For questions or issues on making a public comment, please call the public advisor at 909-396-2432. That's 909-396-2432. Please adhere to the speaker time limit and treat others with courtesy, civility, and respect. Failure to do so can result in your mic being muted or you being removed from the meeting. Be aware that this meeting is being recorded. By participating, you authorize recording of audio and visual content presented during the live event and consent to subsequent use of the recording in the public domain by South Coast AQMD.
All right. Hi. Oh my goodness. It is so good to see all of you all. Okay, I forgot what I'm supposed to do.
Do you have a copy of the agenda?
I do have a copy of the agenda. Are we going to do roll call?
Yeah, go ahead, do roll call.
Okay. I'm a little giddy because it's been a couple months, but still, it's good to see y'all from the past and also virtually through the onboarding, and all of a sudden, y'all ain't gonna do no harm to me. I just feel so comforted by y'all. Okay, I just go pass over my debit card to y'all. Give you money. So I'm super excited to be in space with y'all for YLAC meeting. So Heather, we will, and for the record, I'm not passing over anybody to my debit card. Okay, so there's no bribery there. All right, so Heather, I think it's time for roll call.
Yes.
Call to order. Oh, we call to order the meeting for the Young Leaders Advisory Council on Wednesday, February 18, 2026 at 12:35 p.m. Now we do call to order.
Christian Ali. Absent. Gabriela Ballesteros. Absent. Emmanuel de Jesus Cruz. Absent. Alex Day. Absent. Jesse Isaac Dong.
Here.
Alexander Goitia Fajaro.
Here.
Rosalie Zazie Delise Moore.
Here.
Shirley Marielle Rivera. Here. Emmanuel Jeffrey Alcantara Rodriguez. Absent. Andrea Gianna Vega.
Here.
Simone Despina Bilodeau.
Here.
Quincy Andre Loyola. Absent. Roberto Mendoza.
Here.
Andres Coronel.
Here.
Jose Marquez Cuevas. Absent. Samantha Noor.
Present.
Spencer David Young. Absent. Mary Lynn Margarita Alvarado. Absent. Daniel Choi. Absent. Jennifer De Tejeda.
Here.
Joshua Shield.
Here.
Gilbert Sebastian Sen.
Here.
We have quorum.
Yes. Heather, I didn't hear Heaven.
My apologies. Heaven reached out this morning, letting us know that she's under the weather and will not be here.
So let's say her name and then just say absent.
Heaven Stanham, absent.
And then I'm just noting something, Jennifer, is your name spelled incorrectly on the agenda?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so we want to make that.
She did reach out earlier.
All right, perfect, excellent. All right.
My name is also spelled incorrectly. I didn't notice before, but my last name only has one D in it.
Thank you very much. I will update that.
As with me, for my first last name, Diglese, there's a G before the L.
Thank you. I will make sure those are updated before the next one.
All right, excellent. All right. Want to make sure, say your names and make sure they spell. Excellent.
Please. And then if I struggled on your name, please feel free to email me how to pronounce it correctly, so that way I can respectfully say your name.
And you said we do have quorum?
Yes.
Excellent. All right, thank you. Well, welcome everyone to our February very first meeting of the year of the Young Leaders Advisory Council. My name is Dr. Cecil Johnson. I am your cruise director. No, I'm your facilitator for this meeting. I am on behalf of our Siege Division, just really honored that you all would take the time to be in space with us. I was just now in a meeting with CARB, California Air Resources Board. They asked us to speak at their staff meeting, and Cassie and Alexis, Dr. Thrower and I all did a presentation, and we talked about y'all in the best way possible. We've had what you all represent and what you all as young leaders are doing for your communities so vigorously, just like advocating for your folks. Like it's an energy right now that I think a lot of folks have, that folks need. And, I'm mindful of the time in which I learned about the civil rights movement and how the Black Panthers didn't get along with Dr. Martin Luther King. I don't know if y'all heard those stories before, right? Because the Black Panthers were young people, right? And, Dr. Martin Luther King was religious and from the South. He couldn't relate. And so there was this generational divide between the older folks and young folks in the civil rights movement that doesn't get talked about. There are also divisions between gay and straight, religious and not religious, and it didn't get really talked about. And so what I hear now and what I see now is through this environmental justice, that there is differences amongst group of people and how we fight. But as long as we can acknowledge those differences, like it's okay. Like how you would approach it is one way, how someone else would approach it is another, which is why I'm super excited that Moses Huerta was able to come and speak with us today, because he kind of represents somebody who can talk to all groups and be with all groups, right? He has that skill. So I'm super excited to have you all be in space with each other. And I don't take it for granted that y'all are here. I don't take it for granted that you all don't represent your individual communities. I'm happy y'all are here and bring a diversity to this group. So welcome to YLAC. And we have a new member, so we're excited to go. So this is our team. The SEEP division is here to help kind of facilitate these meetings. I think everybody knows we meet 4 times a year, and we host these kind of in-person things. We have a lot of resources that we feel is important to share with you all in doing this work. Heather, do you want to pause for a second and see who we've added?
Jose Marquez Cuevas, and I've updated my president.
Oh, perfect. Excellent. Thank you. Welcome. All right. Let's see. So an overview of our agenda today, we're going to give you an opportunity to do introductions. And so for you to tell us a little bit about yourself and the communities that you represent. We'll also include staff in that. We're also going to review and approve the previous minutes. We recognize that some of you were not a part of YLAC at the last meeting, so you're just going to be reading it to make sure that it's actually correct, even if you weren't present for that. We're going to share it with you all and review and approve the annual report that will be given to the governing board. I believe all these documents were given to you all ahead of time. The other part of our meeting today is going to be a speaker spotlight. A member of YLAC last year, Jordan Salcido, she was able to take us on a tour of her community. Several of staff members were able to, I believe it was it October? Was it September? November? No, the meeting was in November, but when did we actually go on the visit?
In November,
It was in November
4th.
Okay, gotcha. And so we were able to, based on feedback that we heard from last year's group, y'all want us to be out in the community. Like you'll come out 4 times a year here, but you want us in your communities. And so that was feedback that we had gotten and really heard. And so we did that. So Jordan volunteered, Andreas, I think you volunteered as well. And so we were like, okay, we'll go. And we started, and it was an amazing day. It was an absolute amazing day. We got to interact with, Jordan will tell you anyway, but you're all going to get to see that and know that that's our intention, to be able to do that with all of you all. Eventually to be able to go into your spaces, to be able to hear and see from your perspective, to better educate us. And so in that way, please know that it isn't intended to be like, show us the worst places so that we can feel sorry for your communities. That's not what this is about. This is about you all showing us what your community is about, not through a deficit lens, but the resilience, the information, the places where people are hubs, all of those places. And so we want to be able to get to know, y'all's more. And so anyway, so Jordan will be able to present to us what she did for that first one. We're also going to do a community spotlight. That's an opportunity for you all to be able to share with us any issues or concerns or events in your respective communities that you'd like to elevate to us, either for us to go, to be able to invite other members to attend, or you just want to elevate because you're describing what is going on in your community so that we can better understand. We're going to talk a little bit about our goals and charter updates. So this is a time for you all to be able to discuss what you hope to accomplish this year, the 2026 year, for the YLAC group, or any changes you have for the charter. And then towards the last part of our meeting, we have our invited guest speaker, Moses Huerta from the city of Paramount. Sorry, you just got to be from Paramount.
Yeah.
He's going to discuss his experience in working with the communities And he's been a frequent member of the audience of the YLAC group. And so we saw this as an opportunity to bring him into the space and talk with you all. No pressure, but he is the person that role models the not just, saying youth or youth. He's role modeling inclusivity. And I think that it's important for you all to see that. Because again, right now, so many people are trying to reclaim their power on the backs of other people. People are bullying people when they know better, just because they're like trying to reclaim power some way. And so Moses has just been such an incredible role model of it being inclusive of everyone at all times, regardless of people's background, where they live. They're not residents of Paramount. That's okay. But really just being really, I think, welcoming and inviting. And so we thought he would be a great speaker, community speaker, because not everybody interacts with folks like that. Not everybody has those folks in those communities who don't say, dial it down, you don't know enough kind of thing. So we wanted to invite Moses here to speak to that. And then let us know any upcoming engagement opportunities we'd like to share with you. And then Heather is going to talk a little bit about the materials and expense claims. And so we'll have any other business, and that kind of concludes our meeting. So anyone have any questions or anything like that about the agenda? Okay, all right, I think we are then good. And then I do public comment after each one.
Yes.
I remember that. Okay. All righty. And so we have in your packet all the wonderful additional information that we have to be able to share. So right now, if we can, we're going to go ahead and start around the room to do introductions. And so introduction would be introducing yourself and the community that you represent. I'm going to start with Jesse just so we can go around the room that way and make it a little easier. So
Sure.
and then I think Heather, what is the standard by which you want people to do? Say their name before they speak? Okay.
Yeah, Jesse Dong. Hi guys, I'm Jesse. I am currently a senior at Claremont McKenna College in Claremont. I'm studying data science and environmental analysis. And I'll be representing the Dunbar community. That's where I'm from. Post-grad, I'm planning to teach in Dunbar. And so I'll be working with the youth and like kind of representing that community. Nice to meet you guys.
Hi, everyone. My name is Alexander. I'm from Los Angeles County. Right now, I'm currently doing a master's in applied physics, and I work with Communities for a Better Environment, the Southeast LA chapter, which represents many of the gateway cities in Los Angeles County. And yeah, I'm looking forward to learning from all of you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Andres. I did my undergrad at UCLA, my graduate degree from Cal State San Bernardino, and then I'm currently in law school with Arizona State University, and I represent the Coachella Valley in Riverside County.
Simone Bilodeau. Hi, I'm Simone. I'm currently a junior at UCLA. I'm from Orange County, and that's the area I'll be representing. I was on the governing. I did the governing body internship like the summer after graduate high school, so quite a few years ago. But I'm happy to be back. I'm really interested in like the biological side of air quality and how it affects the human body.
I am Shirley Rivera. I'm a graduate from UC Riverside actually, and did policy, and now I am focusing on community engagement in East Los Angeles at the intersection of arts and culture and like infrastructure. So I do a lot of transportation work. And I'm representing East Los Angeles, like Alhambra as well.
Hi, I'm Robert Mendoza. I'm from Orange County, and I'm currently at Cal State Fullerton studying political science. And I am very interested in environmental issues, so I'm just excited to learn more from you, all of you guys.
Hi, I'm Heather Pomeroy. I'm Dr. Cessa Hurd Johnson's Senior Administrative Secretary. And that's it.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jose. I'm from Corona, so I'll be representing Riverside County. I did my undergrad at UC Santa Cruz, but currently I work in behavioral health and nonprofit sector. So I'm very interested in kind of like getting more grounded in the environmental issues.
Hello, I'm Gilbert Sanchez. I am representing San Bernardino County. I am currently a graduate student at UC Riverside, and I'm also the vice president of our local chapter of the Institute of Transportation Engineers. We focus on intelligent transportation and advocacy.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jennifer. I am a policy organizer specialist at the Center for Community Action and environmental justice, and we work in San Bernardino County and Riverside County. And I'm also a UCLA alum.
Hi, everyone. My name is Samantha. I also go by Sam. I am from Riverside County, Corona specifically. I did my undergrad and grad school at USC. I studied public health for my grad school and just really loved it. Ended up doing my career in human-centered design. So just really excited to meet people in the community, talk to people, talk to small businesses, and kind of bring their perspectives to the table.
Hi all, my name is Andrea Vega. I am a resident of Los Angeles County and representing the community of the San Fernando Valley. I received my Bachelor of Arts in Political Science from Cal State University Northridge. And I'm also a community organizer with Food and Water Watch, where I predominantly work with frontline communities who are being impacted by fossil fuel infrastructure.
Hi, my name is Rosalie. I'm from Baldwin Hills, Los Angeles, and now I go to school at Occidental College, which is in Northeast LA, and I'm studying urban and environmental policy. So I'm super happy to be here and to learn from you all.
Hi there, I'm Joshua Scheel. I am currently studying chemical and environmental engineering at a doctoral level over at UC Riverside. I work closely with David Cocker and am very interested in understanding community insights about what we would like to understand better.
Oh, former intern.
Yes.
All righty. We'll start with you, Walter, and then
Sure.
go around.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Walter. I'm the director here in our division, working under Dr. Cecil Johnson. Some of you look very familiar to me, but in Dr. Cecil's absence, I will most likely be facilitating as well. I'm looking forward to, sharing our stories and sharing the space with everyone here.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Josephine Lee, Principal of Deputy District Counsel. I'm with our agency's legal department. Also a UCLA grad a while back, and OC resident. Before coming here, I was a legal aid attorney in East Los Angeles, so close to my heart, just due to the community work that this group is focused on, and so really excited to continue to learn from you all.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Paula Sormith, and I am the Senior Office Assistant for Community Engagement and Care Programs. And I'm excited to see both familiar and new faces. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Cassandra Johnson, but I go by Cassie. I'm a Senior Public Affairs Specialist with the SEEK Division. And my primary responsibilities here include developing educational and justice-focused initiatives for our workforce, both internally and also in outreach externally, really implementing some of those programs. I've been with South Jose Community for 11 years. Before that, my background was not at all in science. It was in graphic design. I actually got my edge in here just by being able to communicate visually and someone recognizing that as a skill set that they needed. So, no matter what your talents are, I definitely encourage you to lean into those because they can be helpful in a multitude of spaces. Hi, everyone. My name is Giselle. I'm actually a student worker here in the SEEK department. I just finished an internship here as a government board intern. I'm currently a senior at Chase and Political Science and Miami and Policy. I know a mouthful. I'm super excited to learn from all you guys. Woohoo!
I'm recovering from a cold, but I am Alexis Thrower. Nice to meet all of you. I am Cassie's counterpart, also Senior Public Affairs Specialist for the SEEK Division. And I definitely have some connection to many of you. I am a Riverside native, born and raised. So, and I currently live in San Bernardino County. And so this work is definitely near and dear to my heart, not just because I work for the agency, but because I'm actually part of the community as well. So I look forward to hearing all of the wonderful things you all bring forth in these sessions.
All right. Yeah. So hi again, Dr. Cecil Johnson, born and raised in Inglewood, California, Inglewood. And I currently lived in Paramount, California. Okay. No, what's up? And so I was like having my moment because I ain't from any of y'all colleges down here. I went to school at San Diego State. And I went to Eugene, Oregon, because my mama told me to get a job. She didn't care where I got a job, so I got a job right out of college. I did not understand Oregon. But I credit it with being my kind of understanding of nature, because I was city, straight up, I was city. But being in nature and seeing how it's supposed to be kind of changes you. And so I lived in Eugene for quite a time, and then I moved down to UC Santa Cruz. So that's why I was like, all right, what's up? I was at Merrill College. What college was you at?
Oh.
Okay, I'm mad at you. And so I worked for a couple years. That's when I started to teach. So I started teaching diversity and social justice. Bad words now, but weren't bad words then. Aren't even bad words now. But I started to teach diversity and social justice courses at UC Santa Cruz. I then left and went to Oregon State University. Got to tell you, very, very rural. Very not what I was used to. But while there, I got to run the 4 cultural centers that they had at the college. They had a Native American Longhouse, an Asian cultural center, a Black cultural center, and a Hispanic center. While I was there, I helped them to start the LGBT center, and they also had a women's center. And this is probably years ago, so it was a while ago. But they, it blew my mind that this small college in Oregon already had a lot of these resources. And so I was in higher ed for many, many years in 4-year schools. But then I don't know, something could be pay, could just be wherever. It was hard to be in a small town. It was hard to be in a hard to be in a small town. And I just didn't want to raise children there. I want to think that I coined the term driving while Black, because I felt like I kept getting stopped by the police all the time, but I would never get tickets. But I was one of 5 Black women that worked at the entire university in Corvallis. And so people knew who you were. And and then again, this is a while ago. This is significant time ago. And so I wind up not staying there very long, but then wind up going to Seattle and worked at Seattle community colleges for many, many years. But as many of you all know, time happens. I became a mom, and my mom started to get older. And so I needed to not have my kids be 2 states away from my mom. And I moved back here to stay with my mom. And within a month of getting here from Seattle to Paramount, my youngest started to get asthma symptoms within a month. My doctor told me I had a vitamin D deficiency. I went from the rainiest place, like what they said, that movie Twilight, like it was the rainiest place, and I moved down to Southern California and then got a vitamin D deficiency because of all of the smog. And I just did not see how quickly the environment had been impacting me. And so I had been talking about diversity and social justice and higher education for the longest time. But when I came down here and I couldn't get the basic needs met, which was air. There was no, I shifted my focus. And so I stopped working at higher education and started working for government. And it was absolutely the best, career changer, brave to start over, because now I feel like I got my spot. And so I can still be and have concerns, and we will partner with a lot of higher education institutions in doing this work. But I definitely like working with community, and not just because people necessarily have access in higher education, but like everyone who's in the community who's impacted by this work, we need to talk to. They have a story to tell. And so I feel like I found that spot. So that's kind of got me my whole backstory. Y'all now know I'm a business, but that's kind of how you all find me today. And so I'm really grateful to be in space with you all, grateful to learn what you all have to share, what you're willing to share, so that we can all be better in this fight. So. Okay, so if that is everyone, I want to call for public comment. Did I do that? Yeah. Yes. Are there any public comment on our introductions?
No hands online and none in the room.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, moving on to review and approve of minutes. So we sent to you, I believe it was a week or so ago, copies of the May minutes. We typically have the minutes for the previous meeting shared so that you all can review. We have 2 months of meetings because we were not able to make quorum due to whatever flu took people out that November. So we have 2 sets of meeting minutes that we need to approve. I believe the appropriate language is, do we need a vote? What is the appropriate language?
Yes, we need a motion, a first and a second.
So we need a motion to approve the meeting minutes. Can I get a
motion?
A motion?
Okay.
Jose? And then we need a second?
Second.
And seconded by Gilbert? Okay. All those in favor of approving the meeting minutes, please signify by raising your hand. Any opposed? Any abstentions?
Motion passes.
Motion passes. Excellent. All right, next up, we have the meeting minutes from the Young Leaders Advisory Council on Wednesday, November 19th, 2025. We need a motion to approve the minutes and a second.
I motion. Oh, go for
We
it.
got motion by Jesse,
And
seconded
I
by
will second
Josh.
by Josh.
Second by Josh. Okay. All those in favor of approving the meeting minutes from November 19th, 2025, please signify by raising your hand. Okay, any opposed? Any abstentions?
Motion passes.
Oh, y'all, we got minutes to submit. Yay. When you get a flow, I was like, awesome. All right, cool. All right, so meeting minutes I've approved. So is there any public comment on the meeting minutes?
No hands raised online and none in the room.
All right, excellent. Next up. All right, thank you very much. Meeting minutes are in the queue. All right, next up, we have the annual report for YLAC. So if you continue on in the agenda, you'll see the annual report of the YLAC group. So this is the draft annual report. So this was what they did in 2025. And so as a kind of awareness, we take this from comments from the meeting minutes or the meeting agendas. We actually have discussions on what people want for the annual report. As an FYI, this information is shared with the governing board. We first shared with the admin committee, which is a subsection of the governing board. And then ultimately it gets shared with the board to be your place to be able to share what's happened. So you all can, if you have a choice to, when this goes up in front of the board, if you all want to do public comment, you can make public comment, which is just supplementing what you might have said in these meetings or what you feel about the YLAC group. But that's what the kind of purpose of the annual report is. So anyone have any thoughts, comments, or questions about the annual report? Again, recognizing that for some of you, it's new. For some folks, it's kind of existing because they were there, they saw it. I'm okay with silence in the room, so I'm okay. All right, so is anyone want to make a motion? Do we need to make a motion as well? Heather?
For this one, no, these are.
Yes, we do.
Oh, we need to.
Yeah, it's definitely required.
I'll vote for approval.
That was Andreas. So Andreas, and we need a second?
Second.
And so seconded by Rosalie. All right, so probably I should have said any comments, questions, or concerns. Now I can say that. No, we're good. All right, all those in favor of approving the annual report for YLAC submission to the governing board, please signify by raising your hands. All those opposed?
Motion passes.
The abstentions? Motion, there you go, thank you. All right. Any public comment?
No hands raised online and none in the room. And we also had Alex Dang join us. He's one of our new YLAC members.
Okay, gotcha. And is he on virtually?
Yes, he's on virtually.
Alex Dang. Okay, gotcha.
Is this a notice?
Yes, this is a notice location.
And which one is it?
Alex, I believe you were at the
Is Alex on the screen too? I don't see him.
Can we move Alex to a panelist? He's listed as an attendee. And I believe Alex is attending from the Blossom Market Hall in San Gabriel.
Okay, gotcha. And we're moving him to,
Panelist.
there we go, I see him now. And then is Jordan also in the waiting room, or are we gonna need to?
No, I haven't seen her. I was just
Okay.
checking my email.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and we do have the presentation by Jasmine, but we're gonna go ahead, or Jordan, and we're gonna go ahead and keep going. And circle back to her if that's okay, right? If someone isn't, okay, that's fine. All right, so now is the time for community spotlight, okay? And so would really like to hear from you all, what you're doing within your individual agencies or in your careers or your education, or stuff that you're just aware of in your own communities that you'd like to elevate to us. What are people doing? I think that I would be remiss in saying that there's a lot of injustices that are going on in the world. And because of a lot of the comments that were shared with us specifically in this room, we were able to kind of incorporate that into some of the work that we were doing based on comments that we've gotten from this group. I would leave this space and go and say, folks are not comfortable with doing in-person meetings. There's a lot of folks, I really want to do in-person. A lot of folks are like, no, we're not doing in-person meetings. So really and truly, what information you share with us, if it can change how we do business here at AQMD, we definitely want to hear that. So if there are things that we need to join or things that we need to be at, or just information you think that would be helpful for us to be able to do that, that's the whole purpose of YLAC. So please share with us any kind of community spotlight. So opportunity for you to elevate, spotlighting issues, concerns, or events within your community. So this is just a kind of flip your card up so that Heather will know that you're interested in speaking, or raise your hand and we'll go ahead. So anyone have anything to share in the community spotlight part? Please go ahead, Gilbert.
So I'm going to be sharing some bad things happening in my community and some good things. I've mentioned previously that my community, Chino, California, has a big problem with heavy duty vehicles passing through our city.
And what's your city again?
City of Chino.
Chino,
So the city of Ontario has a large agricultural area that they're selling land to developers who are going to be building warehouses. As a result, there is increased traffic of semi-trucks going through our city because it's simply just easier for them to go in zones that are not made for multi-axle vehicles. So as a result, there's more road damage. There's more disruption with like the earth shaking as a result of them passing through. And the problem is that many of these transportation companies are getting traffic lawyers to kind of like dispute the charges they're getting in order to lessen the impact they have. And the land, instead of building a warehouse, they're just using it as a semi-truck storage area. So there's hundreds of semi-trucks within this agriculture area. But the good news is that our city has taken steps to increase the penalties on these companies by increasing the fees for whenever they're caught by our traffic police. The fee is going to increase every time that, like 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, it's going to increase the fee for the company. And that's what I wanted to share.
Thank you. So there's issues around trucks using the roads that are not built for them.
Correct.
So there's a multitude of issues. So it's the road usage, there's the warehouses and the truck storage, and then all of the emissions. Thank you. Anyone have any questions or comments? Right?
Are you guys able to go out to like resource fairs and like introduce or like your organization to the community?
So are we able to? Yes. Are we willing to? Absolutely, yes. So yes, we have several different teams. We have our LPAM, which is our Legislative Public Affairs and Media Division that goes out and does a lot of community outreach. We also, within our own division of CEEP, have a community outreach relations and engagement team that also does similar. And then our entire team is working on right now what they call consistently nominated communities, of which there are 57 in this area that are nominated for AB 617 funds, but we're not able to get them. And so we're doing a much more intensive outreach approach to be able to share resources with those communities now as well. So yeah, so we're absolutely, do you know of any, or are you suggesting?
Yes, in Anaheim, we're having 2 resource fairs in April. Who can I reach out to about that? Or can I just announce it here or?
You can announce it here, and then you're also going to follow up with anything that you share with us with Heather so that we can share it as part of the minutes, and then also share it with people in our agency. So yeah, absolutely. Go ahead, Tim.
So the first one's gonna be up at Betsy Ross Elementary in Anaheim on April 16th from 3:30 to 5:30. And then we have one on Saturday, April 18th, at Part of Your Elementary in Anaheim, and that one is from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. And then I can send Heather the more information about that.
And like, what's the purpose of the resource fair?
So we're gonna have like a variety of organizations coming out to provide resources and services to the community. And I'm not sure the community is aware of what you guys do. So it'd be good to introduce you guys.
Absolutely. Yes. So that April 16th, what day of the week is that one?
Thursday.
It's a Thursday. And it's at a school on Thursday?
Yes, after school.
After school. That makes sense. Okay, I'm on 3:30. That's kind of good now. I get it. Okay. All right. And then the Saturday, April 18th is 10 a.m. Different school, but it's also research fair. Okay.
Yes.
And then who's sponsoring that, do you know?
It's a collaboration with the council member from the city. Her name is Norma Campos Kurtz.
Absolutely. We would love to participate.
Thank you.
Cool. Thank you. Okay, and it looks like Jennifer.
Yeah, so I wanted to highlight or the spotlight on the issue. So in my org, I'm working on rules 1146, 1146.1, 1146.2 here with AQMD. So I went to a working meeting on Friday regarding boilers and heat pumps and then imposing these rules on to transition to no NOx technology instead of low NOx technology. And it seems like at the working group meeting, there wasn't much motion to kind of go fully like electric and push a lot of these warehouses and people who use boilers and industries like that to go low NOx or go no NOx due to the financial effectiveness of that. So if that's an issue that we're currently working on in my org, or I am. So, yeah.
And you said, where do you work again?
The Center for Community Action and Environmental Justice.
Thank you. Other folks, issues or anything going on in your communities that you'd like to elevate to the group? Okay, I see Andreas and then Shirley.
I am part of a nonprofit that recently got a grant through our local healthcare district for clean air programming for particularly within the East Coachella Valley, a lot of the unincorporated communities that still don't have clean access to clean drinking water. And AQMD has come out and they've been doing a lot of work to get a lot of those residents connected to the air purifier program. So I just wanted to say thank you for that as part of the organization.
Excellent. Shirley.
I am currently I work for Public Matters. We do a lot of the majority of our work in East Los Angeles, which is unincorporated part of LA County. I am currently working on a draft plan that's going to be presented to Public Works next Thursday already. And so for the past year and a half, I've been collecting information, findings from community members on what they want to see on those plans. So the plan is to make it more 3 corridors in East Los Angeles more pedestrian safe, and to encourage other modes of transportation. these streets are surrounded around by freeways and run parallel to the 710 and the 60, which is this community.
60?
Yeah.
60,
This community is super highly impacted by the air quality that comes from that. And so I wanted to highlight that some of the findings I had from our community engagement was that the top 3 themes for both phases of engagement for number 1 was shade, comfort, and beautification. And that was solely because of the freeways that are right next to those streets. And so community members really want to see more greenery, want to see mitigations to the pollution. And others were like safe and enhanced multimodal infrastructure and traffic calming and changing drivers' behavior. And so some of the tactics that we're going to present to Public Works is to have them work with local agencies. And so whether that's working with funding that already exists within the unincorporated county or looking for more funding, and we're providing a list of funding for them as well. But wanted to see how AQMD can also be an agency that can work with Public Works, specifically that for unincorporated East LA. And if that's something I could present to them.
Yes. You said you presented Public Works?
I present on Thursday. Yes.
So I think it would be great if you could share information with our team. So yeah, we can definitely talk with you offline about potentially sharing what information you got with our Seat Division and other folks who might be interested in that. That might be really good.
Yeah.
I think so. Cool. Any other community spotlights?
Hello, could I say something?
Okay, we'll go with the Alex who's on the screen, and then we'll go with the Alexander who's in the room second.
Sure. My name's Alex Dang. I'm probably like not involved too much in public affairs, but I run the San Gabriel Valley Symphony. It's a performing arts organization. We typically present concerts in the San Gabriel Valley, so San Gabriel, Alhambra, and Monterey Park. I guess what we do in the community is obviously put on concerts, but advocate for issues like, multimodal transit, safe streets, clean air, just because this helps enable more, obviously more live music, more events in the area. My goal of my orchestra is to kind of create an ecosystem in my region that integrates local businesses, municipalities and cities, as well as, concerts, because, I don't think the arts is an isolated experience and it shouldn't live beyond a parking lot. And, clean air intersects that and safe streets. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
So thank you. And we have Alex in the room, or is it Alexander?
Alexander, Alex is either spot.
Perfect.
So I wanted to put it on the radar that at the intersection of Huntington Park and unincorporated Wanna Park and Florence Firestone, there's this scrap metal factory that's been operating for decades. They shut down not too long ago, but they're called Central Metals Inc. And a lot of community residents were worried about the pollution from that factory. And the EPA did a site investigation, but in their investigation, they used wind patterns to select their soil samples. And so they got Florence Firestone samples and Wanna Park samples, but they did not find lead levels that would sort of like put the site on a Superfund as a Superfund. Recently, UCLA researchers and Communities for a Better Environment took samples from Huntington Park, which was not sampled by the EPA, and they found that on average, lead increases closer to the site. And so the concern is that recently this property has been purchased by U-Haul, and they're planning to build some infrastructure there. And the concern is as they're building and kick up dust. And just want to put that on the radar.
And you said you're CBE Southeast LA, right? Okay. So if we reach out, we can catch you there. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Excellent, thank you. Any other folks have any community spotlights or anything like share issues or concerns?
Sorry,
Go ahead.
one more. Data centers in the San Gabriel Valley. There was a motion for one in Monterey Park, and then I believe in Montebello as well. I think community was able to push back for more time in Monterey Park. But that's still an ongoing battle for that community.
Yeah, I think there's some legislative, we were just in a meeting earlier and they were talking about some assembly bills and some state bills regarding data centers that is kind of coming up, and I can't remember the information for it. But I'll circle back to see what that is. Are other folks seeing and hearing about data centers? Yeah, that's what
Google's planning a massive one in Imperial County. And I think that's about 1 million or close to 2 million square feet. Yeah.
And as far as I know, for the Imperial County one, there has not been an EIR.
No, and it got pushed to the county.
Yes.
Yeah.
I work for an organization called Jobs to Move America, which is a part of the Valley Unido coalition, working to like get good jobs, a CVA, and also prevent like environmental and ecological destruction with all that's happening with lithium extraction and also the data centers, because now there's the LVSP where at the county level, it's leading to like complete environmental deregulation. And most of that renewable energy that was supposed to go to communities is now instead going to go to fueling those data centers. And it also leads to so many clean air issues within that county. But like all that we can learn from Imperial County can come also to the South Coast Basin with data centers that are in our area as well.
Well, I mean, Riverside County is right there.
Yeah, it's right there. So and there's no boundaries with air. So yeah.
just talking about that today. Not to say that it hadn't existed before today, but I mean, we were just talking about this, and I remember saying to someone, I just know YLAC folks are going. So I was like, okay. I'm sorry, was your hand up, Andrea?
Yeah, just to expand on also for the Monterey Park data center, that one's going to require 24 diesel generators. So of course that will have just a major air pollution impact. Yeah.
Let me ask a question of y'all, because I know I'm a bit on the different generation side. Where do you all get your information? Are there websites? Are there books? Are there where like you talking to folks? Like, sorry, go ahead.
At least for me, like on 1146, we're part of a coalition for manufacturing. So we usually just like spread information within each other, which is like articles, some of the AQMD stuff that is posted about like 1146. But yeah, it's mostly like coalition work, so it's everybody from like different parts of California
Sharing information. Cool. Yes, true.
I found out about it through Instagram. Like different news sources, like the Boyle Heights Beats was reporting on it, and East Yard was reporting on it, and I feel like other sources on there. And TikTok, some random resident appeared on my For You page and was talking about the meeting. So.
Okay. Anyone else? So there's a method in my madness of why I'm asking is young people get your information in places that we don't necessarily get our information from, right? And so I think that it's really critical for us to understand where you're getting your stuff from. Not to say that it's wrong or anything like that, but just how are you being informed? Because if that means, like, I'm glad to hear that you said that, I think it's like the rural information from AQMD and so forth, but I just want to make sure that we're plugged into the right places in which to do that. Because I know that there are oftentimes where there is a disconnect between when people report things to AQMD and they're like, well, I didn't know about 1-800 caught smog, or no one ever picks it up. Like there's some disconnects between the technology and some generations, but then other generations, it ain't no issue. It's like, why aren't you posting this on social media? This was live 15 minutes ago. What you talking about? So I feel like we have to diversify our approaches to be able to get to a more diversifying audience. So, okay, gotcha. Thank you. Other folks, anything back to the community spotlight or anything like that? There's a lot of good information. So for those of you who had information, again, please share that information with us, with Heather electronically, so that we can share that with people internally and we'll follow up. And then for those of you who have presentations or anything that you'd like to share, we'll definitely circle back to see if we can get you on the agenda at some of our meetings to be able to talk to folks. All right, so if there is no other information for community spotlight. Oh, sorry, go ahead. Mhm.
So I know Jennifer's organization works within Rivers and San Bernardino counties. I was just wondering if I were to partner with them to kind of do like a community analysis in Corona, because I know we do have some mining companies in the area. And so I wasn't sure, would it be possible or would that be breaking the Brown Act as well?
That is not breaking the Brown Act because there's only 2 of you, correct? Yes, no, it is not breaking it. Y'all can talk.
Got it. Okay.
Okay. All right. Are there any public comments on the community spotlight?
No hands raised and none in the room.
All right. So then thank you very much. You all just saw how that went, right? And so as a part of our minutes, as part of information, we'll share anything that you all feel irrelevant so that you can talk to each other. Again, like education comes from sharing. Right, so the more that we can be plugged in, I think the better it will be for everyone to kind of know what folks are going through. I know, like I said before, about the data centers, the warehouses. Again, when we ask questions, we're not trying to diminish your community if you don't have data centers, or we're not trying to diminish you all if you don't have rail going through your neighborhoods. There is pollution everywhere. And so it's important for us to know how it intersects with your communities. And so no one is trying to diminish any of this stuff. There's pollution. There's a lot of pollution in the ports, on the trucks, on the rail, warehouses, we know exist. So no one's trying to diminish anyone. So thank you. Okay. All right. Goals and charter updates. And so this question is for you all really kind of conversational. And that, what are you hoping we can achieve that you want to achieve? Like, what does success look like for us in 2026? And so what is it that you all would like to see happen for YLAC this year? Like, what would you like to see happen for this group so that this will feel like it was a good use of your time, these 4 meetings per year? Yeah, I'll leave it at that. What would success look like? What do you want to achieve?
I can speak on this.
Please.
So in the topic of media, this is my first YLAC meeting, but I think in the topic of media, I don't know how much has happened in 2025. But I do think that outreach to younger, because we're like younger population, it would make a lot of sense for there to be a lot of posting on either Instagram or TikTok. I would say like this is the primary form of consumption or media consumption for like the younger population. So I think that's really important.
I see Josh.
Yes. So there's an interesting thread that kind of opened with Alex Deng. I guess it was 2 years ago now. When I was here for the all CSCs, when they all met here. And I think I remember discussing with you kind of incorporating art and community more into this kind of space. And I'm kind of wondering if maybe the spirit's in the air to kind of start exploring that direction, trying to get art and local communities involved and maybe seeing what we can do in terms of connecting with those kinds of art makers or those spaces.
To the Jedi team, seat team, I'm remembering something that I think it was Mary Baltimore, who works over at San Bernardino College. She was talking about some competitions and so forth that were happening, some displays of art through the lens of air pollution. And it was mixed media. Mixed media? Is that a thing? Okay. I was like, oh, okay. So mixed media approaches in the art. And so I do think that is good. So, okay, so some kind of that. All right, sure. How will we be successful? So you all are thinking through your lens, how will this time feel like you were useful in this time in 3 meetings? What would you all want to see happen? So it can feel like it was something. And I truly can't speak first. Go ahead, Roberta.
Increasing community engagement, I feel, and making communities aware that you guys are there doing work to improve the quality of life for them. Collaborating with like local organizations. Like I know in Orange County, there's Orange County Environmental Justice. They do a lot of work in Santa Ana with soil lead and all that. Um, but yeah, like getting involved with those kind of organizations and uh, local communities in Orange County would be helpful, in my opinion. Um, because a lot of the times people just think that that's the way it is, and so they can't do anything about it. But because they're not connected to the right resources and all that to make a change or try and make a change in their communities.
And I think honestly, right now, that's a concern because right now, a lot of people are distrustful. They don't care if it's the federal government or the state government or the local government. Like there are things in here now that people are not trusting. And so what I hear you saying is if it will feel successful to you if we were able to do more partnerships to increase the visibility and usage, right? So like make sure that the people know and like they don't just want to like, oh, there is a 1-800 cut smog. I know about it, but people are actually like utilizing it and being able to have a response to it. So yeah, okay, I hear you. Definitely. All right. Okay. All right. So I see Rosalie and then Samantha.
This is also my first meeting, so just like looking at the proposed goals for 2026, I really resonate with all of them, and to the point of like increasing community engagement and participation. I think that goes to your point about really enforcing the what local agencies do and their role, especially with the federal government and deregulation. I know the endangerment finding was just repealed. So power plants just can just pollute the air, and understanding what the state, what local agencies can do still, and giving hope to the youth, because I feel like there's not a lot of it right now. And by giving hope, you can increase participation. So finding ways to do that.
So one thing that I heard you say, so I'm hearing community engagement, but I'm also hearing specifically youth, right? And so how to engage with youth. And so whether that be through social media or other different sources and so forth, but we can't, and I could be projecting a little bit, so you can correct me if I'm wrong, but let's not just throw a whole bunch of approaches to the water. Be specific and mindful about how to get young people involved. Don't just hope that they get involved because you tell everybody. And maybe you get them. But if you know things will work well, if we know that things are going to work with a youth group, then try those approaches to be able to land with them. And so for our team, you know how we were talking to the Young Leaders Institute? They're based out, have you heard of them? They're based out of ECD. We met with them a couple of weeks back, trying to figure out what can we do to be able to partner with them so that we will be mindful in our approach with working with youth. So I think that that's what I'm hearing is really not just the community in the communities in which you all live, but also the community that is a generation of people, to be mindful of that. Okay. All right, cool. Samantha.
I'm tripling down on the community engagement. I would love to just work with everyone here to see how we can actually just get out into the community and hear the perspectives of people. Obviously, I'm just one person, I have my own life experiences, but then holding a seat at this table holds power. And I would love to personally learn a bit more about AQMD and what it is exactly we do here, and kind of be a bridge between that and the community who's not able to have a seat at this table. Also really resonating with the YLAC goals in the annual report. Love the idea of the policy briefs. Let's not just sit and understand what the community is going through, but how can we actually have accountability at our local levels, state levels, or even beyond, to see how what are the things we can actually do to act on it. If there's organization, mobilizing, anything like that, let's get people involved to actually be the change that we want to see. So love that.
and loved hearing about things like if we can just use this space to talk about different things we're hearing. So I loved hearing about the resource fair. I'm like, oh yes, I would love to be at something like that. So I wasn't like super keyed in on the data center stuff. So just sharing like things that are happening in our local community, I think would be great to just surface and see how we can plug in and help each other and kind of like be that bridge.
Quick question, legal question. Josie, if we forward information from other sources, that's not really, is that Brown Act violations? If we say, like, we got a brief on the data center legislation information, can we share that with this group?
We can share as long as you're not getting reply alls from folks, so that it's like communicate, like there's some kind of deliberation. Yeah, that information can be made. Another option is there is like a YLAC page. We have it, we can post that, and then folks can see what's on there, and the public can see. So that's kind of two birds with that. But yeah, I think that is a good.
Yeah, that's fair. Yes. Cool. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Jennifer.
So for me, I also agree with like community engagement. I think for me, it's more of like showing people, like community members, why AQMD is important to them, like specifically because it is about air and we all breathe it. And I think a lot of our communities are infected by air pollution. So I think it would be great to show the community what AQMD is and that they can show up to the governing boards and give public comments. I think that would be great so that they can put pressure on AQMD to have better changes for their communities.
Giselle, oh wait, can you, this as a staff person, can she, or she has to wait for public comment?
Let's make sure we get input from.
So hold that
everyone
thought.
and then come to you first.
Okay, got you.
This is my second year now, and so I kind of signed up again because I was like, I don't know if I felt like I did enough the first year. And so with that feeling, I was thinking about if maybe it's a legal question of like, are subcommittees possible so that, because 4 meetings, well, 3, because this is kind of an introductory, doesn't feel like there's a lot that we can get through or a lot of conversation that can be had. So even posting online is really helpful so that we can continue to be fed and get those resources that we can study upon before coming into these meetings. So either we can all post on there or AQMD can post on there as well, so we can be more informed. But also what I think for me, an understanding of what, besides like bringing information to these meetings, how much more can I give? Or what more can I give for my community to be represented here? And make sure that that they're being heard and seen by AQMD as a bigger institution. Because I feel very heard by your team and the dedication that the team brings, but as a bigger source, as a bigger agency, how is that being perceived or what are they doing? Because I think a lot of my community orgs feel are very aggravated by AQMD as an agency. So how do I help them? How do I be the mitigator between them?
Right. Yes. I mean, that's just a true thing. Like right now, like we're government, right? And not to say that just because we're government, people get mad at us. There are things that people are not in agreement with. 1000%. That is a true thing. And so how do we do this work when we do have discord, right? And so what I hear you saying is, how do we elevate? You know, I've said to people many times, support does not mean 100% agreement. We are not going to be, we can be supportive, but that doesn't mean that we're going to do exactly everything. My kid wants me to give them my car. I'm sorry, I'm just not going to support you that way, right? I mean, I know I'm being flippant, but that's not what I mean, right? And so I feel like we absolutely do need to address the elephants in the room. if we can't trust you on this issue, we're not gonna trust you on that issue. Like, you know, it's not like, it's one and done, right? And so if we're not having honest conversations about what support looks like and what we can do and explaining our, then it's gonna be a tough sell, right? And so I absolutely hear you. And so how do we do this work in Discord? How do we do this work right now with Discord? How do we do it with each other, right? In that way. And so I hear you. I thought about just now, like if we can put, you know, community-based organizations in the rooms with community members. You know, we do an all CSC event every October where we invite members of our AB 617 community steering groups to come into Diamond Bar to be able to like get, you know, hear speeches, be inspired, talk to each other, be in space with each other. We've talked about it this year because many of our AB 617 communities are kind of hitting their 5-year. And now we're doing work with consistently nominated communities, which many of you all represent. We've talked about having those CNCs mentor the CNCs. So the people who haven't had their access yet, we want to be able to give them the space to be able to do that. And so I think that sometimes what it means is we need to provide the space for community folks to talk to each other, even if it's just us providing the space, because there's going to be mistrust, right? There's going to be mistrust. I'm not going to take that away from folks because that is a true thing. But I do think that we need to be putting everyone together in spaces. And so maybe what that is having something that is an all CNC, all CSC, bringing people in space, maybe having a community-based organization resource fair where we can bring the folks who are doing this work. One thing I know happens, we have several different community-based organizations who have what's called CAG grants. CARB has, they call community air grants. And so much of their work is putting their work in front of people. And so we were talking about maybe we invite those CAG grant recipients to be in space with us so that all the data that they're getting, all the information that they're gathering, they have an audience in which to be able to share with folks, right? So we give them the audience and then they can kind of talk to each other and then it not be about us. I think is something definitely we can think about doing and I know I'm excited about doing. So I think that we need to find a way to partner with the CBOs in those groups, the CSCs, which are AB 617 communities, but also those nominated communities, because there's a lot of work that's been done. But it won't go anywhere if it's like, okay, we did it for our community, we're not doing it for anybody else. Like we need to take all that information and pass that on. Like we need to treat it like it's ancestral knowledge and we need to be passing it on to the next generation or the next community. So I definitely hear you about elevating community concerns in a space, community-based organizations, giving them a space to be able to also be in space with each other. Okay, yep, I hear you. Okay, y'all got gold. That's a good thing. All right. Okay, so what we'll do now is kind of add this information. Oh, wait, I have more.
Yeah, I was just gonna add one more thing.
Go ahead, Roberto.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead. Sorry.
No.
I know we were talking earlier about more like pinpointing like community outreach, which I think is something like I'm really passionate about. And I'm part of this organization. We offer like free kidney disease screenings like every other weekend, and there's a lot of links to like amount of like particulate matter in certain areas to like chronic kidney disease. And of course, there's like other things that influence that as well. But like the type of people that come to the free screenings are the people who are really passionate, like or not passionate, but people who are putting effort to like take their health into their own hands. And we do them in a lot of like under-resourced communities, which is, people might not be aware of AQMD and everything. But I think like we could find success on more like that side of things, like people who are going to the free screenings and stuff in these under-resourced communities that might not know about how air quality is affecting their health.
So we should be in those spaces. Like they're happening every other weekend, so that information should be there.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and there's tons of organizations that do this.
Yep, right here. So we need to get plugged in. Absolutely. One thing, I will see you 1 second. So I have Simone and then Roberto and then Samantha. So one thing that, we were just in a space, I think we were talking about laundromats. Like we were in a space and someone was like, you need to be at laundromats. And we were like, what? And so like, it's so different than what we would have done. But if if we're being truthful, we need to be trying different approaches. It's not going to work to do it the same way that we've done it before. If this is a time that is so different, then we need to approach how we do things differently. And so we need to be in the community, in these spaces. They need to see us there, not the one and done. Like there needs to be some consistency that people need to show up. They need to see faces. They need to do that. And so we need to be in those spaces as well. Okay, I hear you. All right, then Roberto and then Samantha.
To add to Shirley's point about the 4 meetings not being enough, is there any way there could be more meetings, or is the 4 the max or the limit, or?
I think that's what's written in the charter, is 4 meetings per year. So if we were to want to change that, we would put a request in of our governing board that we would want to add more meetings to the charter. So that'll be something. And so the one thing that I would say is we've heard this now 3 years. I want to think 3 years in a row, that people are like, and I'm like, y'all want to spend more time with me? But if that's not possible, what can we do instead of, like, I don't want to wait a year for us to be able to do that, right? So if we're able to do the events and make sure that there's no violation of Brown Acts and that we're doing all this stuff, we can still be in space with each other more in this regard, right? So the events, the activities in the community, going into your community. So we're finding ways that we can do these things without necessarily making a charter change that's going to take a year plus to do. And so the more that we can do that, the more that if you all want to, when our minutes go in front of the governing board, if you want to do public comments, like there's ways to which to elevate the role that you have as a YLAC member with the board. But there's also that what we can do in terms of being out in your community. So like we're going to talk later with Andreas going out into the ECV community. I can't remember who the second one we're going to do. Do you remember who that was?
We were looking to partner with Emmanuel Jesus de Cruz in
Cutting. Yeah. So I think those were, so that's another thing too, that you all can kind of share with us. If you're willing to host us being in a space and coming out into your communities, we would absolutely do that as well. So we want to gain as much knowledge as we can from you all in this short amount of time that we have with you all. So yeah, we absolutely can do that. So add more events that we can do in the meantime, knowing that the goal might potentially be to add maybe a couple more meetings per year. So it's like every other month or something of that nature. Gotcha. I hear you. And then Samantha.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask a clarification question, just around the Brown Act. So like, for example, if there was a resource fair and like 6 of us showed up, is that a violation technically? Like, how do we work in between meetings? Cause like, I could see you doing between one person, but like, I wouldn't, like, I feel like, I don't know, if you're working on a policy brief, maybe it's good to get the group to get involved. So how do you, like, what's a good way to go and work in between meetings?
And on that note, I'm going to look to the left.
Sure, yeah, so this is a Brown Act committee that was pretty much authorized by the governing board. So because of that, this is public, you have the access to the public, we want to hear from the public. But of course, we also want you all to connect with one another. That's why some of these events that Dr. Johnson had mentioned with the all CSC, all members can attend as long as we're not discussing YLAC agenda items. And so at the same time, there are some issues with, like, I don't know if you all took that, the Sherry had hosted a training, but there's in terms of serial meetings. So even if there are folks, maybe a group of 2 or 3, then you break off and you kind of do discuss items that will raise Brown Act concerns. And the heart of the matter is transparency to the public, as you know, a committee, Brown Act committee. And so one way that could help is if there are events and maybe it's in between meetings, to message Heather and to let Heather know, hey, there's this event that's happening, and Heather can either post that on the YLAC website or webpage or send that blast out. Again, folks are welcome to connect through these meetings. If you hear of an event that you want to go to, that's okay. Just be mindful of not discussing YLAC agenda items. Basically deliberating on things that we see as, oh, you're talking about the stuff that you should be talking about in public because it's an agenda item. And if you have concerns, always feel free to message Heather, and then those questions can be related.
Clarification on the agenda items. When do they come out? Like, what if we did something and then it was like a future agenda item? Like, how do we know what would be an agenda item versus not?
Yeah, that's a good question. And I think one issue too is that deliberating on issues that are within the purview of the committee. But this committee is intentionally, their purview is broad. I think it's environmental issues, social issues affecting you and your communities. And so that's been one good thing. It allows us to bring in a lot of things on the agenda. But at the other hand, yeah, you're right. It's like, could something be discussed that is, later going to be an issue? And so again, I guess if you do have concerns, just I think it's best to take it on a case by case basis. And to be safe, to avoid, like I said, the reply alls or messaging the whole group on something that should be safely discussed at a agendized meeting.
Right. We will not violate the Brown Act, but we will literally try to make sure that people are as plugged in as possible. So the defer, and again, do I say, we didn't usually have this level of engagement in the past, so that really didn't come up. Now it is. And so that's a good thing, that we'll make sure that we're, being protective and so forth. But again, this is proof that y'all's issues are important, right? So just the amount of suggestions that we've gotten in this short amount of time, like there's a whole bunch of directions that we can go. And I'm like, oh, I got inspired by this. That's the purpose of what you all do, is to make us better, right? And to make us try to different approaches. And so that's what we're going to try to do. And so we definitely will always be plugged in with our legal, but we want to make sure that you all are also feeling like you're successful, right? And so more y'all community engagement, that's good. But also informed, right? So not just telling somebody some random stuff. You want to make sure that people are truly informed about the things that really matter. So rules, working teams, those kinds of things too. Oh, I hear you. All right, thank you for the question. Okay. All right. So I believe that, so what we're going to do with this information is take all the notes so that we can see what we can do to update the charter the goals for this year. One thing that I would kind of mention is in the past, what we've done is we've had representatives from our agency come and do presentations. So someone internally from AQMD. We've also had a member of the governing board, also a member of executive leadership come. So our intention is to continue those traditions so that you all can meet the governing board chair, who is now Vice Mayor Caccioti, right? Very excited. He's been on the board since I've arrived here, always a supporter of what we do in both AB 617 and in all of our community and workplace engagement. So one will be getting you access to the governing board members. It's also going to make sure that you all have an awareness of some of the initiatives that are happening across our agency so that you can better inform your communities that you're in. But I guess the other part too that I want you all to hear is us learning from you. So it isn't going to be just you telling, us talking at you. What I think has made this group more successful in the past 3 years is the interactiveness of it. So we're very excited that we're going to continue doing that. So we can. Okay. All right. So we're going to take those notes and then turn those into goals that you all can look at and apply into the next meeting. Is there any, I'm looking to see if there's any that is not no motion. All right, so we don't need a motion. So we're going to go ahead and do that. And then community spotlight goals and charter update. So what? Yeah, gotcha. All right. So any public comment on the goals and charter update?
No hands online and none in the room.
Okay. All right. But no voting. All right. Good. All right. I think we're at the time for Moses. All right. So just a little bit. I am a fan. But I've learned to I can't say I'm an OnlyFans. That's not my kids told me that's not what you say. That's not what you say. That's very, very cringy worthy, mother. But I am a fan. I am a resident of Paramount, California, and when I took on this job 5 years ago, almost immediately, I found myself in spaces with Moses. Moses Huerta lives in Paramount, and he's going to talk a lot about what it is that he does. But when we've been having our YLAC meetings, Moses is almost here every single meeting. And as a member of the public. And so, as I mentioned to you all before, I have seen him role model the inclusion of all voices in spaces. And that's just not a habit that happens with a lot of folks. That's not a competency or a skill that a lot of folks have. A lot of folks will come at it like, you ain't been here 5 years, so you don't know. You haven't lived what I've lived, so you don't know. Moses takes people as they are and welcomes them into the community to do this work. And I just felt that this was a time in which we needed to see more of that behavior, because right now there's a lot of people telling people to acquiesce. A lot of folks who are telling people to smother your voices, to kind of quell that stuff. And I just never got that from Moses. And so as a staff, we talked about who we'd like to be in front of you all. And so this was a chance to be able to highlight a community member that we thought was doing good work. And so we invited Moses to come and speak with you today. So I will turn it over to Moses to be able to share a little bit about your background and whatever you want to tell these folks. So everybody, this is Moses Huerta from Paramount, California.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you, Dr. Cesar, for the invitation. And I'm excited to be here with you. It really is a privilege, just because of this group and what it does. As mentioned, the free flow of this conversation is here to bring anything up in a positive environment is very, very important, especially in the work that you're going to be engaging in or you're doing working now, is to have that space to be able to communicate and be involved in. As mentioned, I've started my journey, just to give you a quick background, 2016 is when I first got involved in understanding what was going on in air quality. And I mentioned 2016 because I recall, just to give you a quick short journey, seeing this van parked in front of my house. And they had a big device on top of the van. And it's like, what is this? What do I see there? And I saw this blue symbol and it had these letters, AQMD. Well, what is that? I've never heard of that. As you all are studying and understanding and learning, I started to say, okay, what is this? Why am I seeing this here? What's going on? I need to, understand what is happening. As that journey went on, I started to understand that there was an issue that was being studied and understood, or try to understand what was happening in the community. Obviously, as you all share, we have our respective issues, but they're all the same. We are concerned about our health and safety and well-being, and able to live in our communities without many additional worries, right? So I delved myself into learning and expanding my knowledge. What is going on? I went from zero to really just delving in more, understanding more. And and thank you all for sharing some of your experiences. It also shared to connect some of the experiences I had, knowing, understanding, maybe is there a connection to this, what I'm experiencing, what my neighbors are experiencing, what my brothers are experiencing in family. And that really, I made the decision going further, learn more, get involved, and learning from the organization, really understanding not only what they were doing, and they were in the process of learning as well at that time. I took on engaging with the AQMD and then learning from them. They were the experts to really get involved in this space. So in that journey, and as I expand more and delving and understanding, how can I help? How can I do not only just myself, but my neighbors, my community, but how can I help those that can help me, right? Or help address my concern and questions. Really just advancing that engagement. To fast forward you from there to 2016, I really was fully engaged into that process and learning, that I was in the hard work that the AQMD did then. A lot of knowledge was gained, a lot of experience through a lot of how would you say, very tense conversations, a lot of we have to be honest, a lot of shouting, a lot of finger pointing, Why isn't this being done? Why aren't you answering my questions? Why isn't this information available? And that was important at that time. It was a very intense, at least in that experience when I was at, to then get to the point now where a lot of that knowledge was taken in, a lot of the information was taken in, to where then as AQMD took that information and tried to affect some change, to address the concerns and learn from that. At that point, I decided to really continue making my mission. I'm fortunate that at that time, as you can see, the gray hair, I did a 30-year career, 30 years in a career. I worked in logistics. I took that experience, but I was fortunate at that time that I decided this is important. I want to get engaged in this space of community and addressing air quality issues, importantly, because that's what I was first exposed to, and then understanding and delving to what that stems off from there. And at that same time, as you know, the agencies, there were multiple aside from the AQMD, there was really learning and getting there. But I decided to continue working. More so that I was, as I mentioned, really get involved, that I actually partnered to get a community air grant. I didn't know what granting was. I didn't know anything about it other than I felt that we need to continue the work. There was so much going on that I wanted to continue down to the community level and understanding what was happening. So thankfully, we were successful. One of the few grant projects that was funded by the Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, they provided an environmental justice grant at that time. We won't get into the current EPA, but at that time, I was fortunate to have a good cooperation and engagement with them. And the organization I partnered with was very community-based and seeing that it was important to continue. And part of that engagement was, it was called the ground truthing. You know, we all live, as you will, ground and there, front line. We are living that experience. It showed value. And what I saw, one of the opportunities at that time was like yourselves here, the younger generation, if you will, those that are just getting into their education, increasing their knowledge and experience. I said, there's a lot of knowledge, how would you say, not commentary, but suggestions, ideas that we need to understand, and that because you had to have that same, the voice has to be fair and understanding, balancing all the way across. So I saw part of that project was to engage as yourselves here in this group. And the focus also as well, and some of you knew, was to understand some of the more communities and to be included in the conversation. Was the focus on that was we did primarily the meetings in Spanish to be more inclusive, because in the community that we're in was more of a more comfortable in that language, if you will. And we decided to really bring more in that, to be more inclusive and to hear that their comments and concerns. And that helped to then increase the engagement with and sharing with the agencies to say, hey, that work you did and you continue going on, that this is still showing value. Where were there opportunities that maybe didn't stick, after something that was so intensive? That why isn't it continuing? Why aren't you still engaged? Why aren't you understanding? Or what was the confusion that we didn't explain? We need to continue. So that was part of that conversation, and expanding from there. I was presented with other opportunities because of that value of engaging, like this conversation we're having here. That I was able to then participate in another grant project. This one was funded by the California Resources Board. I was fortunate to be able to partner. It's a research project that collaborated with Cal Poly Pomona and USC, and it was also how to better to use technology to communicate in a way. Also, how to expand the opportunities to receive information and input and stories in the community. And also that particular grant, it's still ongoing. We're pretty much finishing it now. It is going to be a white paper, so it's going to be an academic research. It's a proper research project to really we delved into, and the focus was in Paramount because of the expansive work that they can do there to continue in understanding what was done there to then share that knowledge going forward. And we did delve into a lot of technology, and some of you touched on the subjects of using technology and how to engage community better and address some of the concerns. You all mentioned some of the, or it was mentioned here in the meeting, some of the concerns, refineries, trucking, warehousing, pesticides. We have some of the non-diesel contaminants that are in the air. Those are the things that we started to really delve into. How do we start addressing this? Because we heard these communities. How do we start expanding from there? I have a technical background. I think they call it a nerd. So back then, that was my career. So I really delved into in that tech partnership. I was part of one of the EPA grant was I actually was able to get an actual monitor, a very advanced, something that some of the agencies use, and really to prove the concept of we can continue this work that was of those that are working in this space, so that, like the AQMD, to then continue sharing that they felt, okay, we can start using and keep continuing learning and understanding that information. So I was fortunate to have the collaboration with the AQMD. They actually came and worked with me and trained me in some instances to how better to do it, to be able to ensure that the information that's being gathered from not only from that solid data is to then be communicated, understood. How does it impact, the communities, as was mentioned here, in the health, in the policy, and then in the rules that were starting back then. So much so that we were able to then connect with other community organizations, as you've mentioned. We partnered up with others to then share that knowledge and share experiences, because as you all know, the air does not know any boundaries, doesn't know any borders. If it was in my little small city, it's going to affect others in the neighborhood, and vice versa. And then obviously some of the same issues as mentioned, like the trucks and warehousing. Well, we have that now. As an example, there's a 400,000 square foot warehouse a quarter mile from my house that just got built. How do I understand what's happening there? How's it going to impact not only that small neighborhood, but my neighborhood? And what I found very powerful, and to bring it to what you're all are here, was hearing this information from all of you, because it was more honest, more genuine, more from not just from the heart, but you as students of this space of environment. You are really actively learning and understanding what you've already learned, and then actually asking some questions that we didn't ask before, right? That we didn't understand. How do we better ask it? Or how do we understand it? So we've taken that information. I've been involved in that, which so far has offered the opportunity to be engaged in other conversations. I was based on this information, not only taken from community, but also the research that we've done so far and I've been involved in. We've been able to help assist in some regulations, tighten up more rules in providing that information and engagement with other larger organizations that can able to share the experiences they can and the successes, and then even the challenges that are presented to us before. Something was mentioned about, in policymaking, part of my getting out of my comfort zone, if you will, because some of you will be experiencing that. I went from not having any experience in public to then stepping out and putting in my position that I went as far as to get into working in the city that I live in. I was appointed as a public safety commissioner. So the Brown Act was kind of giving me a little twitching, because I was very important to remember in the discussions of what we need to do. So I understand that conversation and how I can still work with others in the community, but still do it correctly and do it right and not affect the work. But in that other opportunity gave me another opportunity to then continue to engage in the community in a different way, and understanding the other concerns that we can do change from, as was mentioned, as a governmental agency, to learn that inside processes that we probably don't understand outside. So it gave me that opportunity to then leverage that and then share it with the community members that we are in. Are we okay on time? I didn't want to. Okay. Because I'd like to leave space with you for questions. Continuing that in those conversations and including as best as I could, some would say, have those diverse information and to include everybody to make it fair or equitable with everybody. It's important, very, very important. A lot of the success in bringing to light the issues, to have regulations and rules implemented successfully is due to that broad knowledge and experiences. Lived experiences are extremely important, and I can tell you from what have been working on and worked in the past. And then focusing on connecting those dots and relationships that we can to then keep that going forward. We can't just say, oh, we had an issue and okay, we kind of talked about it and then it's disappears. We have to continue that going. I can say a lot of what I've experienced in these other projects is leveraging and connecting with the experts. You all are at some level are already experts, and you're going to be even more expertly, if I may say. We need that because I don't know everything. We all don't know everything, but we have something. And bless you. And we need to have that connection. Everyone here, what you're studying, I heard everything that you study. I've touched on some of the work that I've done, but I've connected with those individuals that know that knowledge, or understand it better deeply, to not only educate me or guide me, inform me, and then partner up with to say, hey, this is interesting to you, or this is something that you are really passionate about. I'm working on this now. Can you help me? Can you inform me? Can you assist me in having a positive resolution or an understanding or expanding the knowledge that we can. So 2016, that was in the 1900s. That was a long time ago. And here we are, 2026. I am still engaged, and I'm fortunate to not only have an opportunity to be not only from that side of the camera, but seeing you here on this side. And I want to encourage you to keep staying engaged. I'm extremely grateful to Dr. Sesser, including me, but also the AQMD team and other agencies, and seeing the value of this type of conversation and work. Yes, we can delve into a lot of the policies and the from every aspect of what we're all working on. But the more important is just here, just talking to you. I deliberately didn't do any PowerPoints because I didn't want to see the back of your heads. I wanted to see you guys engaging you and seeing and really hearing from you, and sharing with you my experience that there have been successes that I've been part of, and in collaboration with everyone. I want to keep, I was stressed before, encourage you, stay engaged, stay involved. What this, now more than ever in these modern times, is having some very serious challenges. We have to be very honest about it. And it's in very important work. All the studying you're doing or you have been done, and then to continue expanding that knowledge is vital. I will share my biggest concern in my experience in this so far is the questioning of knowledge, of facts, of data being collected. That can be countered by continuing expanding that those that say, no, that's not correct. No, what I'm working on, what I'm studying is valid, and it has power, and it is going to be useful or will be useful. So I want to please keep this journey going as you are here. I've publicly said before, this is my favorite of all the meetings I attended in AQMD, and other agency meetings and everything about. This is the one that is important. What you all are here and present, being willing to come and take that step in, and then having this, as mentioned, you can share quite a bit. Other meetings we can't, and this is very special, very unique, and very, very valuable. And that's why I've always attended. I've said before, I really value the input and sharing and the willingness. It's important. A lot of the value in the work that and the projects I've done, as one that I think I wanted to highlight that I expanded into some of the other cities, like Maywood, Vernon, and Bell, and somewhere in South. And then there's also some in the Coachella Valley. I think was somebody really. Yeah, so pesticides, I'm currently working on a project that's addressing some of that. It's a state project that is addressing not only all those different concerns across the state. And it's to bring it to light, right? Give it a spotlight, hear it, what's going on, and then to do something about it, right? Let's do some change. I think I can give you, that's about the highlight. I can go on and on and on. I could talk quite a bit, but I know we're time limited, but I want to offer the opportunity to really, any questions, just to let you know, I've pretty much hear what everyone's concerns respectively. And I know the community is out in the public, because I know this is a public meeting, but I've in one way or another have been engaged, or I'm engaged currently at the moment. So again, thank you all for allowing me to be here with you, space. And again, thank you.
Of course.
My homie from Paramount to let me be here with you as well in the invitation.
I know. Questions for Moses. Go ahead, Jim.
Okay, so I have had this idea for a while, and many of the things that you had mentioned kind of stood out to me in terms of we all have different perspectives, we all have different insights, and because of that, sometimes we can be blind to what is right in front of us, right? Or alternatively, we can be deep in the study of our field and we can't recall the insights of why we started looking into this in the first place. And I have had this idea kind of brewing because the AQMD is awesome, right? South Coast AQMD, I am so glad I've been able to participate and work with them in these spaces, but simply because of constraints of being a governmental organization, we can't always share things or express things in a way that connects to people. We have, or there is some kind of face that must be maintained, right? And I kind of have a proposal or an idea that I'd love for anyone to kind of speak out on, or like offer some kind of perspective on, where what if we facilitated these meetups out in communities where people can bring in their questions, where people can state questions, things they want to understand. And the AQMD might be able to sponsor or help find subject matter experts to come out into these communities and strike up a dialogue. It could help spur research in directions that could help understand mechanisms better. It could also allow for communities to connect with these subject matter experts and get answers. And I don't want this to be some kind of grand presentation. I want it to be a forum, a place where people can discuss and talk about these concerns and talk with subject matter experts and get some kind of direction or connections to other people, communities, and organizations. Of course, like what we've been proposing all day, right? Do you see the possibility for some kind of framework for forum to exist and be effective for helping not only inform communities, but to help answer questions? Do you see that as a valuable direction to connect government to community?
Yes, there's some of the, as you're speaking of, have some, I've been participating in some of the meetings that have started that. Some of the forums that have been done and more on campuses where you're studying at, because that is the space where, just by the way it is, it's set up to share, to learn, right? It's a learning space. It's supposed to hear. All of you already experienced that or experience it now. You're supposed to there to study, share, express yourself, and share those communities, and then invite. As an example, I participated in one that similar meeting as you're mentioning at UC Davis, and they did some community that I participated in. And they did invite some of the agencies and some of the others that were addressing the concern, but it was in a space where they, in the beginning, just how to understand, how to better to share their information, and it was to learn from them. It was a small meeting, but it was a start to figure out is it worth it? Kind of a proof of concept, if you, to what you're saying. But it is, and it was valuable. It was very insightful because it wasn't as constrained as we feel sometimes in meetings that we can't share or communicate, or the vice versa, to have that back and forth communications. I'm fortunate to be part of some meetings with some of the agencies that I'm actually have, like we're talking now, just have a conversation, hey, I've been concerned about this. So I saw that you were working on this. This is what I see. You propose something that I didn't understand. Can you explain more about that proposal or that registration, or that makes sense, right? And to them, help them better communicate it. A lot of this complex, a lot of it is very complex. How do we work to better make it easier to be understood and communicated in that space can do? So yes, absolutely. But again, it's the strength in community, it's strengthen in all of us being together and working and pushing that to really get, the more we nudge, the school will, and hey, we'd like to see this. Hey, we'd like to see this. Hey, you mentioned, can we do more meetings? I think it was mentioned in these meetings. Well, if we kind of figure out a way to do it, maybe we can, if it makes sense. And if it's showing the value, yes. Why not? If it's going to really increase the knowledge and the conversations, the experience and engagement. A lot of this work that you're all speaking about is about that, really. You mentioned community. We need to keep it going, because that is very difficult to do. But
if I could share real quick that I think it was Samantha who said something about having a seat at the table, right? You mentioned a comment earlier. I really do appreciate you all being here and being in this space with us. Someone, like, I can't remember, but there were several people who applied for YLAC who didn't get chosen, right? And so trust me when I say like y'all were chosen. Like, there was a process in which a lot of people applied, and you all were chosen because of your representation, because of your background, because of your community DNA. Please share that with us. Please share us with us, because there's a point in which we will openly say to you, I will say, we need YLAC to exist and to be functioning and to plug us in, and to bring in your thoughts from your vantage point, right? It's a theory around cultural capital. You all have a capital. A lot of people will think, oh, you're a college student, or oh, you're like, none of that is, like, you are plugged in where you're plugged in. And if you are so gracious enough to be able to share with us your resources, your information, like, let's do that. But we know that misinformation is what's killing a lot of our communities, right? I mean, it's obviously air pollution, but it's also the misinformation about things, right? And the not trust the government and not do those things. And those are ways in which that's existing. And so our community engagement isn't just a line, right? This is truly, like, we have to go about this differently if we want people to act differently, right? And I think that we have to try things and just try them. Try the approaches that we can. You all have had, experiences and vantage points. Plug us in, tell us, like, hey, this might be an approach. We'll try it. Like, I'm the retry it person, right? I haven't grown up in this agency, so I don't know what it was done 20 years ago. Don't need to know, right? I need to know what's going to land with you all right now. And that's the part where you all give me expertise. You all have lived expertise and you are sharing with us. And so we're grateful for that. So continue to do those things. I will tell us we're short on time now. Now we're short. Now we're getting hooked. Now we're getting hooked. Things getting hooked. All right. Is there any other question for Moses? All right. Well, he attends our meetings, so be able to reach out to him again. Okay. So that being said, I want to give space for any public comment. Giselle, this would be you because I forgot you. So I want to make sure I circle back. So if you kind of say your comment that you said before that you wanted to.
Only thing that I kind of want to highlight, like how we can all represent communities is really to vote right now to be, right now you can vote for your representative and for Senate, they're up right now. Like this upcoming election, like who you want to represent you because it's like the federal government, we're trying to see what's going on. So I feel like we are the voters, and people that want them to really share those information and those resources with people that we care about, and that they also have like a vote is like super critical during these times. So that's kind of let you guys know, kind of like persuade you guys to vote. It's very important.
Thank you. I'm so glad I circled back. Thank you. Okay. Any other public comments, either in the room or online for Moses's presentation?
And in the room and no hands raised online.
All right, awesome. Okay, upcoming engagement opportunities. So we wanted to just share with you all that we do have currently right now our governing board internship application is live. It is for college age, high school and college age students. And you will, I think it's till March 13th, that application is available. Friday, March 13th. And so we also have our governing board meetings on the first Friday of every month. We also have our consistent community steering committee meetings, all of which we've shared with you all. Do you know which one is coming up next?
I think East LA is next Thursday.
East LA is next Thursday. And so this is our CSC community steering committee for the AB 617 program. We have quarterly meetings. And so we can make sure to share that with you all, especially for those of you who are in those communities. If you can plug in and kind of be a part, I think you will get to see what we're role modeling about community engagement. So we'll make sure that you all have those links to those meetings. And then, like I said, Heather provided a whole list of the AQMD calendar information. So you all have all that plugged in.
Yes, and a note on that, the working group meetings tend to show up about 2 weeks prior. So keep checking that calendar if you want to get in on the working group meeting.
Sorry, go ahead.
Just questions. Can you give an overview of what the community steering committees and working groups look like?
Let's see. Community steering. So in the AB 617 program, we have 6 of the 19 groups across the state. So there's over 19 communities, a little bit less now because I think we're getting to that. And so here in our region, we have 6. And so those are groups of people who, at the time in which there were funding available for the AB 617 program, they came together and kind of planned and plotted and come up with things that they wanted to see happen in each community. So they had a list of what we call SERP implementation items. SERP stands for Community Emission Reductions Program. And so they all work toward establishing those. There's some people who, once they establish them, are like, I'm good, solid, bye. And they kind of dropped. But there's some people who are like, no, we want to hear updates on a quarterly basis. And so these CSCs, community steering committees, meet quarterly basis, and we give them updates on how these initiatives were created and what the progress is on them, so that we are getting toward 100% completion. So we do that on a quarterly basis, but also it's about people being in space with each other. So these are people who've been working together on this project for quite some time. And so they've gotten to know each other and so forth. We will actually talk about the things that we talked about in this meeting. So do you have any community spotlight issues? Do you have anything that's going on? Have you all noticed anything? Well, I noticed that there's an issue with the trucks over here on the corner of blah, 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 and da, 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 da. And so they'll tell each other. So it's literally a community meeting and it's virtual.
Got it.
But it's all based on the SERP implementation that was created 5 years ago. And so we have found that we are talking about not only the stuff that is related to air quality, but the other issues that are impacting those communities, like ICE presence, like events and activities, like things that aren't in the jurisdiction of South Coast Air Quality Management District, but it's the only time in which people get the chance to talk to each other. So they'll talk about it, even though it has nothing to do with air. And you know, sometimes if you're ever watching a board meeting, they'll say, oh, you can't talk about this because it's not related to air. We will talk about it because it's related to the community. So the emphasis being on community plus the SERP, the completion of the SERP, and giving people progress on those. So that's what tends to happen in those meetings. And like I said, they're normally on I think they're all on Thursdays, different times. And they're once a quarter that we're meeting.
Thank you. And if we were to give public comment at any of these, should we say that we're YLAC?
You absolutely can come to the meetings. You absolutely can do public comment. You absolutely can say to anybody who you want to that you're a member of YLAC.
Got it. Thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. All right. So any more public comments about the upcoming engagement opportunity?
Just wanted to give a clarifier for the governing board intern program. I absolutely encourage you all to apply. Some of you have been interns before. But I did want to make a note that if you did apply and were to be selected, there would then become a conflict with your participation in this committee. So I encourage all to apply, but just know that could potentially happen. Because we're unfortunately not really allowed to keep staff on this committee.
And when you work as an intern, you're technically staff.
Yes.
So that's why so many people joined out. I know, I recognize all you former interns. I see you. Okay. All righty. Okay, next up, we have materials and expense claims. Heather.
Yes, so for our new members, everybody should have gotten a copy of the color of law, and I think we provided a copy, or provided a copy from the inside out as well for, by, Marathon. They're wonderful books. From the inside out talks about, the government and how it proceeds forward with community and, you know, best practices sort of thing, from a really insightful point of view. The color of law is about redlining. I believe Dr. Sessa may have mentioned once or twice that a large majority of our staff didn't know what redlining was. So we've taken it upon ourselves to always provide this one to staff and to our YLAC members and to our governing board interns. So materials and expense claims. So these are not automatic. You need to be turning these in. We need to get your financial documents first. So we need the Form 590 and the Form W9. And those are needed for our accounting team in order to get you set up in our system. The expense claim you get just for participating in the meeting. Alternates do not claim an expense unless they are participating in the meeting as a full member. The expense claim is for $100 for every meeting, and you claim that even if you're participating remotely. For the mileage, it's from your home to South Coast AQMD or from your work if you're coming from work or from school. And then also your return back. I'll be sending out samples. I'm using Mickey Mouse and Disneyland, so you can see how it's done. Lastly, I'll need a copy of a map of the route that you take because our accounting department is going to be requesting that. If you don't have it, I'll make my best guess and turn that in, but it's better if it's coming from you. That way I know it's absolutely right. We really want to hammer down on the fact that this is work and we don't work for free. We don't want to take advantage of your expertise. We want to make sure that we're paying you appropriately. So please be sure to turn these stipends and expense claims in.
Cool. Okay. Is there any additional other business?
Yes, just have a question. So on this expense claim, it's pre-populated with the $100 stipend for the YLAC meeting. Can we also add the transit onto the same?
No, it doesn't even in a separate form. That's a good question. So if you didn't get one, I can get one for you at the end of the meeting, but there's a separate mileage claim form that you'll need to fill out. Yes.
Are we supposed to like scan it and send it over? Like,
no, if you leave it with me, I can take it today.
Oh, okay.
Or you can email it to me, whatever you're more comfortable with.
And I do believe that because it's agendized, we need to table Jordan's presentation, is that correct? So
Yeah.
we're not able to have that, okay. So we're gonna table, Jordan's presentation, and, hopefully reschedule that for the next meeting. So we're gonna do that, all right? If there's no other additional oh, sorry.
Sorry, I have one question. It's not related to the expense claims, but I was wondering, when will we like petition to change like how often we have meetings, or would that be next meeting?
If we're gonna do some research on that,
Sure.
so it wouldn't happen in this year.
Okay.
So there's very likely not going to happen that we will add additional meetings this year just because of the structure, I think, of the board. And so it wouldn't happen, but we would probably begin the process this year. So this year will be the 4 meetings, the February, May, August, and November. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, and if there are no other public comments, are there any online?
No hands raised online and none in the room.
All right, so then I officially will call this meeting to close at 2:35 PM. Thank you, everyone. It was good to meet you all. Thank you for being here.